I'm actually taking the day off of work tomorrow, not because I'm sick or I really need to get stuff done, but I'm trying to avoid our office holiday party, and
Yeah.
I I don't want
Yeah.
to go to that. You're listening to the all-new Culture Cast, Chicagoland's finest podcast. Hello and welcome back to the all-new Culture Cast, everyone. I am part one of two of your hosts, Nick
And the Gorehound.
and Gorehound. How are you doing today, Gorehound?
It's a Monday, coming off the weekend, but I am ready for it to be a good week.
I gotta
After
say,
Monday.
after Mondays, that's
Yes.
fair enough. I got you, Gorehound. Oh my gosh, I got your Christmas card today.
Yeah, the Gorehound annual Christmas card.
Yes, I love your Christmas cards, and this year I think has been the best one yet.
Yeah.
My bride to be, she opened it, and I was laughing for a good 5 minutes to myself because it was so ridiculous. For those of you out there in Radio Land who can't actually see this card, it was the Gorehound and his girl sleeping in bed as if it was the day before Christmas, and through some special effects wizardry, uh, the Gorehound was also dressed up as the Grinch, as if he was going to steal Christmas. Um,
So the
maybe
cats are tucked in bed with their candy
Yes,
canes.
that was the best part, that the
Yeah.
cats were there. I'm not describing it well, but I got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah. It was plenty of Photoshop. So much Photoshop. But yeah, it did turn out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I do have to give credit to the Graveyard Queen. It was pretty much all her idea. I kind of just put her idea onto photo paper.
I could see that. I
So
could see that. So tonight we're in for a chock full of fun. We're nearing Christmas time, so we're knee deep in the holiday spirit, and I'm sure the Gorehound is knee deep in his holiday horror films.
I'm trying.
But tonight we're going to look ahead. We're going to look ahead at 2016. We're nearing the end of the year, and next year has quite a few films ahead of it. And there are several that both of us are looking forward to. So we're going to take some time and kind of take a look ahead of what we have.
So, and we do have quite a bit of a list,
Yes,
but I think we can get through all of them.
I think so. There are some of these things that we don't need to talk a lot about, but kind of power through. So.
Yeah.
I guess let's begin at the beginning. We're going to go in a chronological order for those of you listening, just so you have an idea. So we start on January 1st. What comes out on January 1st?
We've got Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. It's a film that's been in production on and off for past couple of years now.
Yeah, and there was actually the Quentin Tarantino pulled the plug because somebody had leaked the script out, and he was like, "I'm not doing it. I'm furious."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're not gonna do that. You're a filmmaker,
I'm
and we're gonna see it eventually."
I'm surprised he did that or was thinking about doing that because it seems so childish almost. But
Yeah, yeah,
I'm glad for his sake and for his fans that he's going to be making it.
right. I mean, people leaking scripts. It happens. Whatever set you're on,
Hmm.
it's just gonna happen. Um, and there's nothing you could do about it because people can be assholes,
Hmm.
and
Quentin Tarantino and I have a troubled relationship
yeah.
in that I love Pulp Fiction, but the rest of his films, with the exception of Reservoir Dogs, in fairness, I haven't seen it, which I know is probably sacrilege, but like his trailers are always so great, and I get sucked in, like I'm going to go see that, and then I see the movie, and I'm always disappointed by it. So, and Hateful Eight has a great trailer, and so I'm worried that I'm going to go and see it, and I'm going to be disappointed. So I might wait for DVD on that one. But
No, no, I
you're going to
think
be there.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a Tarantino. Well, maybe I saw Django in theaters. But no, I mean, I guess I'm the stereotypical American moviegoer where I just like love everything that he puts out. I think it's just pure gold. And I mean, I've even gone back and watched his older stuff like Jackie Brown, and it's, he's just, I feel that he just keeps on getting better and better. Some of it isn't really my like Kill Bill kind of
Hmm.
draws on me, but it's one of those things where like the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, I think is a wonderful movie, but I fall asleep to it like every single time, and it's just very weird how the movie's great, but sometimes it just puts me to sleep. And Kill Bill is just like that, where it's just
Hmm.
like I think it's fantastic, but I'm really happy to see Kurt Russell again, and because he's been on
Yes.
quite a few talk shows regarding this movie,
Hmm.
and his beard is just fantastic. I think it looks so good.
you like Kurt Russell, and you like a good beard, so.
Yeah, yeah, and it's as ridiculous as it can be. Like unless he put on like an eye patch, he can't make it. Can't make himself look any more crazy.
And he's put on eye patches before, so.
Oh yeah, Snake, he's my man.
So, alrighty. So, what after Hateful Eight? There's a movie that you're interested in that I know nothing about called.
Yeah, it's 13 hours. It's we're astray from the political rant on Benghazi because I really don't know anything about Benghazi, but I watched this trailer and it just looked so cool. So I watched this trailer and it's got John Krasinski in it. I really want to see Krasinski as a serious actor rather than just a comedian or chick flick guy, because I think he just has a lot in him that can do well.
I would be curious to see him do something different because I know him as Jim, and I think he's having trouble in his career shine away from that role.
Right, right.
So basically, 13 Hours is a war film then.
Yeah, but I kind of saw it almost as like I mean, albeit I did quite a bit of research today, so I didn't even know this movie was coming out. But I got a Three Kings feel from it,
Mm.
with George Clooney, Ice Cube, and
Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, and Three Kings is one of my favorite movies, and so it was kind of reminiscent of it.
Okay.
So, but I'm sure we'll be hearing more about it once it comes along.
Okay.
So,
Well, speaking of George Clooney, the next movie on our list here is Hail Caesar, which I don't know if you've seen the previews for it yet. It's a
yeah, I
Coen
have.
Brothers film. And I like the Coen Brothers. I think they make quality flicks. And this one continues in that vein. And I don't know. It looks like it's a movie about making a movie where their main star, played by George Clooney, is kidnapped for reasons which I guess we're not sure of.
Yeah.
And either the studio head or the producer of the film, played by Josh Brolin, is in a mad dash to find his missing star so they can complete the picture. I guess
Hmm.
it takes place during the quote unquote golden age of Hollywood, the 40s or 50s, which is a time period that I absolutely love. I think it's great aesthetics. And I don't know, it just looks good.
Yeah,
I mean,
and these movies where it's a movie within a movie, it's just it. Most of the time, they do really well because you have to have a really good director and a lot of really good people to make it happen.
and the Coen brothers have proved themselves time and again. And even if there's a lesser Coen brother movie, it's still wildly entertaining.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Big Lebowski and Burn After Reading and things like that. Fargo. So yeah, just I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully I can see that when it comes out. I think in February.
We forgot to mention Yoga Hosers coming out
Oh,
before Hail Caesar.
sorry about
Uh,
that.
yes, damn your
I must have made that
release
list too
dates.
quickly. My bad. What's Yoga Hosers about?
Are you familiar?
I am not.
Oh my gosh, that's heresy. Yoga Hosers is the movie that I am most looking forward to next year. It's Kevin Smith's new film.
Mm,
You're not a fan of Kevin Smith?
I don't know. I go back and forth on him. I don't think he's a particularly good filmmaker.
Yeah.
I think he's still sort of trending on the success he had in the 90s.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's a better media personality than filmmaker because he's really
Okay.
branded himself out there,
Yeah.
which is not a
Yeah.
bad thing. I mean, good on him for that one. But But that's just my 2 cents. But anyway, enough about
Yeah.
that. What makes you what's about yoga hosers that you like?
Well, I listen to, um, on average, I listen to like an hour to 3 hours of Kevin Smith a week on his podcast. One of the many podcasts that he does, and it's a very perfect podcast because it really helps me just like leave my corporate work job and just get into this place where I just feel awesome and just listen to Kevin Smith and Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes or Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. Just have fun for an hour and a half to two. So it really helps me. And I just love his movies. And listening to so much of him talking, I get so connected with them where I feel like I hang out with these guys on a weekly basis. And so he's always talking about production of it. So I'm like really looking forward to it. And because the past two movies that he's made have been Tusk and Red State, which have been serious movies, and coming out with a comedy is, I think, is just going to be really well. I will enjoy it regardless of whether it's good or not, just because I've seen it, everything that's been putting into it.
You've been following the development of the film.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a can't fail film for
Yeah.
the Gorehound.
Yeah, pretty much. But up next on our list is Batman versus Superman.
Yes, probably the first big blockbuster of 2016, and this was on both of our lists to see, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I'm not a big DC guy. Generally, when I read comics, it's Marvel, like Ghost Rider or Deadpool or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's been very few DC comics that I've ever read. And so I really have no affinity towards them, unlike you do, where like pretty much all of your comics are DC, aren't they?
Well, that's not fair. I don't go into that Marvel versus DC war that the internet
Yeah.
loves to have, but I think I'm more of a DC fan, but I have my fair share of Marvel comics, specifically Captain America, because
Yeah.
I loved Captain America when I was in high school and everything. I followed that a
Yeah.
lot. So,
Yeah. So you're an independent comic book reader.
yeah, at the end of the day, they're two sides of the same coin. But with this Batman v Superman, the Dawn of Justice, I wasn't the biggest fan of Man of Steel, but I'm cautiously optimistic about this movie. I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. Moving
I'm
forward in a good move.
Yeah, and I think I'm intrigued about everything I've seen. I'm excited that they're going to have Wonder Woman. That's kind of cool. Um,
And Aquaman is going to
and
make an appearance.
Aquaman played by Jason Momoa.
Yeah. We got Doomsday coming in.
That's just from the last trailer they
Mhm.
dropped Doomsday, which I'm surprised they're going that route. But why not?
But I was thinking, I was expecting him to be a lot more vicious, because I saw him just like a different colored the Thing from Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that his design in the movie has been getting a lot of criticism, but here's the thing. If they sell the character in the movie and he's pretty badass in the film, no one's going to care after that point.
Yeah.
All they got to do is sell it. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic that they will be able to do that, so no one will complain about his look after that.
Mhm.
But if it sucks, then everyone's going to complain about it. So, it'll just be another thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Batman v Superman because even though I don't think DC needs to go the route of Marvel where they have like all the interconnected movies, I am excited to see where they will still go with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were just talking about how you're a big fan of Deadpool, and the next movie on this
Yeah.
list is
Yeah, it's Deadpool.
Although I think
Starring-
Deadpool comes out before Batman v Superman, but oh well.
about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, starring Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. But yeah, I think it's getting a lot of Deadpool is up on the rise right now. I mean, even my wife wants to see this movie.
It looks funny. It looks really funny.
Yeah, it looks hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it's right from the comics. It's got gore. It's got everything that makes Deadpool Deadpool.
I have a prediction about this film.
Yeah.
Because it's been in development for so long. I mean, ever since the Wolverine movie came out back in 2009, this movie's been in development,
Hmm.
and from what I understand, with pretty much the same script. Um, this movie's either going to be gonzo successful, like be super super successful, or it's going to tank. There
Yeah.
won't be any in between. And it's tough to tell at this point because while the internet is enthusiastic about it, no film yet has ever survived or been successful based on internet word of mouth. So
Yeah.
I hope for Ryan Reynolds' sake and for the expanded X-Men franchise, which this film is a part of, this film will be successful.
Hmm.
I'm going to try to see it. It looks fun.
When the Wolverine movie came out, because I remember this movie was coming out, and somebody on the internet said, "Oh, well, he's already been in that Wolverine movie," and I went back and watched it. And I was like, "How is that him?"
It's
Because
pretty bad.
I'm like, "Are they really pushing it this way?" And I'm just waiting to hear them rip on like his previous experience in Marvel movies or something like that.
You know they're going to.
Yeah.
And I had read years ago when the film was still in development hell, like speaking about script leaks, the script was put online, and I read
Yeah.
about half of it
Yeah.
before I got pulled away and I never went back to it. And they openly referenced the Wolverine movie and in a disdainful manner. So
Yeah.
I gotta think. I mean, if you saw the trailer, they badmouthed the Green Lantern movie that Ryan Reynolds was in.
Yeah.
You know they're going to have to reference the Wolverine movie. How
Yeah.
can they not?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Looking
um,
forward to it.
so the next movie on this list, I won't spend much time on because I think I'm probably the only person who's interested in it, is The Huntsman, which is a follow-up to 2012 movie Snow White and the Huntsman,
Yeah, that's
starring
what I
Kristen
thought.
Stewart. It's weird that they're making a sequel to this after all of this time, but they are. So there you go. I liked the first one. It wasn't a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoyed it. Like it was that dark fantasy stuff that I kind of like. And this one seems, Kristen Stewart's not in it. It's more about whichever Hemsworth that is. I get him
Yeah.
confused, but Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth just running around being a badass. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. It looks fun. Charlize Theron is in it, somehow reprising her role, even though she was killed in the last one. But and it looks like the other villain is from the fairy tales, the Snow Queen, which is essentially Elsa from Frozen.
Mm.
Of course, this is going to be a very different version of it, but I almost guarantee you they put it in there because of Frozen. So I expect a couple of subtle Frozen digs in that movie. But yeah, it looks fun. I want to see it. I may not see it in theaters, but I'll eventually see it.
So you're a fan of the Hemsworth boy?
I wouldn't go out of my way for him,
Yeah.
but he's okay. I got nothing against him.
I like him.
Next up on the list, we were talking about Captain America earlier, and in terms of superhero face-offs, the Captain America 3
Civil War, right?
Civil War, yes, comes out where Captain America and Iron Man go head to head, and I like Captain America 2, this Winter Soldier from a couple years back. I thought it was a pretty solid entry in the Marvel franchise, and so I'm looking forward to this one. I was nervous at first because I was surprised they were basing it on Civil War, which was a comic book storyline from about 10 years ago. And I was disappointed for two reasons. One, that Civil War storyline did not have a very positive reaction or legacy. So I was
Was that
surprised.
really 10 years ago?
Yeah, it came out in like 2005, I think.
Huh. Okay.
And so I was surprised that they were basing a movie on it. But at the same time, I was also disappointed that Captain America has had 70 plus years of stories. And the last two movies, this Winter Soldier and now this one, seem to be taken from storylines from the past 10 years. I'm thinking, oh, I wish they could have done something from like the 80s, picked borrowed elements from a storyline from like the 80s or maybe even the 90s, because that was kind of my era.
Mhm.
which I know is sort of nitpicky, but whatever. But then after seeing the trailer, I saw it seems like it's Civil War in name only, and a lot of the stuff they're doing is from the era that I kind of grew up in. So,
Well, isn't Civil War regarding the Mutant Registration Act?
yes, in the comics, it doesn't
Okay.
seem they're doing the same thing in the movie though.
Okay.
It seems like it's more about we need to regulate what you guys do versus signing up with us and tell us your secret identity,
Yeah.
which is a subtle difference, but it's enough of a difference for me to get more excited about the film. I just hope it's not overstuffed with characters, because as of right now it
Yeah.
seems to be,
Yeah.
because it seems like it's pretty much Avengers 3
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on the characters. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
be
saw
cautiously
that, and
optimistic.
I guess I'm just not that big of a Captain America fan, or just superheroes in general. So that's kind of why I didn't add it. But the trailer does look good, and I like the complexity of the plot, where it's not just we're here to battle each other or to like save the planet.
Hmm.
It's actually getting into like a plot line where people might be doing some more talking than just one-liners.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Um, I think this movie will follow a very similar track as in the Batman and Superman movie, in which the heroes that are against one another will realize, hey, we're on the same side after all. And then there's the real villain, but that's okay.
Neighbors 2 is next, and yeah, both of us are looking forward to that. Is that right?
I never saw Neighbors 1.
Oh, you did not add it to your last list?
No, Neighbors 2 is not on my list,
Oh
but
man.
I'm not opposed to. I didn't know they were making a Neighbors 2.
Yeah, primarily because Chloe Grace Moretz is in
Moretz,
it.
Hit Girl.
Yes.
Are they doing a sorority house this time?
It's Sorority Rising.
Okay.
But it's got Rose Byrne and Chloe Grace Moretz in a funny movie, and I thought the first one was really funny, and I really like Rose Byrne,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm thinking it's going to be pretty solid. And I could always go for. I like comedies when it's got people that I really like in it.
Okay.
And Rose and Chloe are the two people who I really like.
So they're in a movie. You're sold.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like X-Men that we're going. Oh, X-Men that we're talking about next.
Yeah, they're bringing
She's
Rose Byrne back.
right, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. um, but yeah, I mean, and I sometimes like to just follow movies that I know that my wife is going to like to watch because that gives something for both of us to be excited about. Because she's never going to be excited to watch The Hateful Eight with Quentin Tarantino.
Hmm.
But yeah, X-Men 2 is coming out.
Yes, X-Men. What is this, number 6,
Yeah.
7? How many of these have they made now?
Oh yeah, I don't know. What month are we in right now?
I
Do you
think
know?
we're in May. I think we're in May.
Okay, some summer blockbusters coming up.
Yeah, we're in summer blockbuster season now.
Mhm.
So let's see.
But
We
yeah,
got
this trailer just came out like a week ago. Is that right?
yeah. Last Friday
Yeah, I feel like a whole bunch of trailers just came out
they
this
did.
week.
It's like they just like this last week have just launched all these trailers.
Yeah, and I feel like have I been like off the internet for like a few months because they usually don't come out with all these like all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's weird. It's this is how movies work. One movie releases its trailer, then the next one needs a trumpet by releasing their trailer, and then people just start riding the wave. They're coming up now in December for the summer blockbuster season. They're starting their promotional push. What are you
Yeah.
thinking about X-Men Apocalypse?
Um, it's like I know it'll be really good and exciting, but and part of what really draws me in is it's reverting to the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's not trying to push it to be as exciting as it can be. So I feel like it's kind of holding back to like because it actually got like a story that you want to see.
Mm-hmm. I kind of feel the same way. I want to be after seeing the trailer. I want to be excited about this film, but I'm not as excited as I probably feel I could be.
Yeah, but 80s costumes, isn't that enough reason to see it?
Oh yeah, I do like the '80s.
Yeah.
I am a little concerned, and I know this is a dumb concern, especially for a comic book movie, that the film is going to be a little too over the top with its citywide destruction. I'm just feeling I'm getting tired of seeing that in so many movies now. And
Yeah.
the X-Men movies have been pretty restrained in that way in the past, but Um, I don't know. We'll see. I'm intrigued. I
Yeah.
think I'm curious how they're going to age.
Who's your favorite X-Men?
Who's my favorite X-Men?
Yeah.
Uh, Unpopular opinion, Cyclops. But who's
Yeah,
your
I can
favorite
see that.
X-Men?
I like Nightcrawler. Well, if somebody asked me if I can have any superpower, it's always Nightcrawler's superpower.
Hmm.
Just being able to just like poof into a poof of smoke and just appear somewhere else, and I think that's so cool. Um, but yeah, I really like him. I used to like Gambit when I was younger, um, so I'm looking forward to that one coming up.
Mm.
Does that have a release date yet?
I think sometime in November.
Does that?
Let me see. I got
But we
this.
haven't really heard anything about it.
It's still filming, and there was some what do you call it? Difficulties, production difficulties. The original director left, and they had to get a new one. And then they were wondering if uh, Channing Tatum was going to stay in the role. So there was a lot of question marks. But I think it's on track for October 7th. October it's
Okay.
coming out.
Okay.
I like Gambit too. When I was younger in the cartoon.
Yeah, he was just so cool.
Hmm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how he comes out. Um, but yeah, and of course I'm looking forward to seeing the beautiful Jennifer Lawrence, who always is a knockout in these movies. So
You know, again, unpopular opinion, but I'm kind of getting tired of Jennifer Lawrence.
yeah,
I just
how
feel
come?
like, all right, your numbers up. Let's dial it back a little bit. Like if she took a year or two off, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah,
Um, Maybe it's because she kind of played the America's best friend a little too much, and now it's just her shtick's kind of old.
yeah,
But oh well, that's just me.
yeah,
Next up, and this is on my list,
yeah. Not on mine.
Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows, I think that's what it's called. Which is an odd title. I'm surprised they didn't go with Out from the Sewers, but whatever. I'm not making the movie.
Yeah.
But
You should.
maybe I should. But I don't know. I liked the first one. Didn't love it, but it was enjoyable. But I'm watching the trailer for the new one, which I didn't even know was coming out. And I was like smiling because it reminded me of the cartoon I used to watch as a kid. And for me, that's good enough.
Oh, it's got those rhinos.
Yeah,
Or
like Bebop and Rocksteady,
yeah.
the Rhino and the Warthog.
I remember that kind of, but I think the only reason that I would want to see this is because of Casey Jones.
Yeah, who's played by Steve Amell, aka the Arrow on CW's
Oh yeah.
Arrow. So there's your DC Comics reference for the day.
Yeah. Did you like the original or the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I like the first one. The second
Yeah.
one, I like it as a childhood nostalgic sort of thing. Although
Wait,
it's
there was two recent ones?
recent ones. Oh, I thought you meant like the ones from like the 90s.
Oh no, the one that just came out like a year or two ago.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. Don't go in expecting like high art, but
Yeah.
it was fun. It was fun. I mean, it's a Ninja Turtle movie. I mean, it's going to be dumb no matter what you do, but
Yeah.
um,
Does Casey Jones not have long hair?
I guess
Yeah.
not in this new one. No.
Oh my
He's-
gosh. That's lame. That's what made him so cool.
Well, maybe he'll grow long hair by the end of it. I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. And speaking of childhood nostalgia, the next movie that's coming out that I'm looking forward to, and I think I'm the only one on the internet that looking forward to it, is Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
The remake directed by Paul Feige? Paul Feige?
I think it's fake.
Paul
Yeah.
Feig. Starring Kristen Wiig
It's
and
got girls, which I feel like is targeting a lot of female viewers, which I'm not complaining about. But that was my first impression, was that this is targeting women primarily.
you see, here's the thing, and I can go on a long, long, long discussion on this,
Yeah.
but I won't. I'll save that for a blog post. But if they were four men,
It
would
wouldn't be
that say
targeting,
would that be saying that you're targeting men?
right?
No,
Uh,
I think women would still want to go and see it. I don't see why this film, which has four female leads, four funny comedians who've proven themselves profitable at the box office, or at least two of them have. The other two are kind of up and comers. Um,
it may be. I may just be basing this off of Kristen Wiig, who I don't really like,
okay.
and I feel that she really only has female appeal. But that may just be my opinion. Um,
Well, her biggest roles to date have been more female-directed films like Bridesmaids.
right.
But I think
Which I will still watch because it has Rose Byrne in it.
that's true. That
Right.
Rose Byrne isn't it? Maybe they should have put Rose Byrne in Ghostbusters.
Then I would be excited.
Well, maybe they'll do Ghostbusters 2 if this one's successful. But I don't know. I'm probably the world's biggest Ghostbusters fan. So I'm intrigued. I'm excited. Surprisingly, a trailer for that hasn't come out yet. So I'm curious to see what they're doing. Like all the production stuff that I've been following, it looks good. It looks like it's keeping in the spirit of the original. So I don't know. Color me excited.
So perhaps I'm not familiar with it, but I thought that the original crew said that they would never make a Ghostbusters 3. Is that not the case, or what's the story behind that?
The long story short is they all wanted to do it except Bill Murray.
Okay.
And they said we wouldn't do it if we didn't have everyone involved. And Bill Murray kept on being the holdout. And for years and years and years and years and years. And so finally, after and the story always was predicted to be, according to internet rumor, that they'd be handing the torch over to the quote unquote next generation of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Which to me is it's a terrible, sounds like a terrible idea, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So then when Harold Ramis died, who played Egon and was one of the writers of the Ghostbuster films, they decided, okay, we still want this property, we still want to do something with it, we'll just do a reboot. And that's when Paul Feig,
I think it's Fig.
I gotta
I
remember
think
how to
so.
say that. When Paul Feig came in on the scene, pitched the Sony Pictures his idea, they said great, and that's when they ran with it.
Yeah.
But in a strange twist, all the original Ghostbuster cast members, including Sigourney Weaver, are going to have cameos in this new one.
Right. Right.
So, so there you go, including Bill Murray. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Interesting.
So the next film on our list is Star Trek,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for because it is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek in 2016, and so this is the film that's kind of commemorating it. They just dropped the Star Trek trailer today, so this is. And I just watched it. It's interesting. I don't know what to make of it quite yet. It seems very, very different, but it was only like a minute long, so it's tough to really get a feel for the film. But yeah, I'm intrigued. It also happens to fall the weekend. It happens to be released the weekend that I'm getting married.
Oh yeah.
So after my wedding ceremony, when my bride is looking away, I'm going to sneak out to go and watch. No, I'm not going to do that. Since according to tradition, you're not supposed to see the bride before the night before the wedding. I'll probably go and watch the movie then. But it's got to be fate that the Star Trek comes out the same weekend as my wedding.
Yeah.
So. The next film, I've been like talking a lot lately, but luckily after this, you're going to be up.
Yeah.
Is a DC film, The Suicide Squad, and I might be more interested in this film than Batman vs Superman because it's such an unknown quantity. I don't know what to expect from it.
Right. Yeah. Because we've never seen any of these people before, and like with Avengers, we knew most of these people.
Yeah,
I mean,
you had the other. Yeah,
Except for Black Widow and the Arrow
the
guy.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, we knew everybody's stories, and these people were like, "Wait, isn't that supposed to be Heath Ledger?" And it's just like, um, so yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah. Um, I like the thing I'm curious about is the she's a fan favorite, but I could see her becoming like a movie favorite character of Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, who I like. I like Margot Robbie, the few things I've seen her in, and so I'm curious to see how that this is all going to work out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
Jared,
I feel like she is the most popular. I don't know. Her or Joker are could pretty much have been the centers of this movie, and
hmm
everybody else is pretty much supporting cast.
right?
Because every girl who dresses up at C2E2 is Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that seems to be, and I bet this year and especially next year, it's going to be even huge because of the movie coming out.
Yeah, they're already probably planning a Harley Quinn versus I don't know Joker or something like that.
So yeah, I'm intrigued. Jared Leto seems really freaky as a Joker, totally new take on the character. So um, yeah,
When as soon as that first came out, I just thought he looked like a goddamn hipster. Like all those tattoos, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I figured you'd be all over the tattoos.
No, no, not those tattoos where you just get ha 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 tattooed all over your body. Yeah, he's a jokester.
You see, Gorehound, I was going to get that tattoo, and I thought you'd be supportive of me. But now that you're not, I'll never get a tattoo ever.
Yeah, if you get a shoulder tattoo of ha 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 ha, I'll support you with that.
Okay. Well, enough about that. Let's go back to Marvel. What movie? I'll let
Uh,
you introduce this one.
we got Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch. And Benedict Cumberbatch is a really good pick for this.
He
I
was
really wanted to see Joaquin Phoenix be it,
okay.
but I also have a really big man crush on Joaquin Phoenix, so I would have wanted him to be in anything coming out. But yeah, we don't really know a whole lot about this. There was just a screenshot that was released a little bit ago
hmm
that I saw on my phone, and I did not give it 2 seconds because it was just too small for me to like take apart. But I don't really know if there was anything else released regarding it.
I know you've been a Doctor Strange fan, so
Yeah, yeah, because it was I don't know, it wasn't like he's not a typical superhero. He
he's
uses
definitely
magic,
not. Yeah, he's definitely not an A-list comic character that a lot of people know.
right? So yeah, he's very intriguing, and he's got he could take this movie in such a different direction. Because it's not going to be, destroying cities.
hmm
We're going to be entering dark realms with ghosts and nightmares and
I will say that Marvel is probably really banking on Doctor Strange and the upcoming Black Panther film and they're really their bottom barrel characters that no one knows because their contracts with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth they're running out, and once the contracts are done they may not be able to get all these actors back to do future Avenger films, so they're going to have to replenish their casts. So they're banking on these movies, these newer characters, to really become popular, and they keep this Marvel franchise going. So
and I really want to see them just jump right into this. I don't want to see origin stories or, spin-offs
hmm
of Doctor Strange and his I don't know, whatever. I just want to jump right into the action with
I've
it's a little bit of a flashback.
mhm.
I'll take it, but
I've heard that Marvel doesn't want to do, again, I don't know how true this is. They don't want to do origin stories anymore.
yeah.
So you might get your wish with Doctor Strange that he's already established as Doctor Strange. You might get like a little backstory about I became Doctor Strange when this happened, but you know,
Yeah, yeah, I like the backstories, where where the main character isn't in the room, and it's
Hmm.
just some people talking about the stories, the legend of how he became this, so that we can picture it in our mind of how legendary he actually is, rather than seeing it. Because we don't need to see everything. We
Hmm.
don't need to see everything, so we get the facts straight.
Right.
Where were you on this day, and
Just
why?
just enough where we get like the setup and one or two lines of dialogue, and then we're good to go.
Right. Yeah, he's a doctor. Yes, he is actually a doctor. He got into an accident and because of I forgot what it was, greed or rage or something like that. And so he became Doctor Strange because that is he didn't need to use physical power to do anything. He was able to use his mind and he was able to transfer his knowledge of being a doctor into his mind rather than with his hands.
So should be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to the first preview, which probably won't come for a couple of months yet, but
Uh,
it should be an interesting one.
I really do want to see the outfit though.
Oh, well, he's
Uh,
going to be dressed in. See if they'll push it where doesn't he have like that collar and the cape and everything?
right, and that's what we need to see. We need to see it epic, and I don't want it to be like modern day cape or something like that.
Like old school, like
Right, it needs
crazy man cape.
right, it needs to be flashy, just awesome looking, like Spawn. Um, the way that they did Spawn's cape was just magnificent. And you really got to feel that this is straight from the comic books.
Alrighty, moving on after Doctor Strange. It's a film that I'm not going to race to see, but I'm intrigued by it. Is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is the Harry Potter prequel.
Oh, that's where I heard the name.
It's a crazy name to a movie, but I guess it takes place like 80, 90 years before the events of Harry Potter.
Hmm.
And I guess it's not like a prequel in the sense about like this is how Voldemort was made, but
It's in the same universe
it's in the same, yeah,
beforehand.
but yeah, just it happened beforehand. And they're hoping to make a trilogy out of this, which because everything has to be a trilogy nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by them. What are they going to do? I mean, part of me says the Harry Potter films were good, leave them at that. But I'm curious where they're going to go with this because it's removed from the Harry Potter films, but it's in the same world.
Yeah.
I just hope that they could stand on its own, where you're not getting constant references to the Harry Potter stuff.
I say if you give it an R rating, I'll get excited for it.
I don't think it's going to get an R rating,
Nope.
but probably PG-13. But
Yeah.
and then the last film that I'm looking forward to the year is Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm looking forward to this is not because, I'm a Star Wars goofball or anything. I mean, I like Star Wars, but this is the first Star Wars movie that's essentially a spin-off of the Star Wars movies.
Hmm.
And that's never been really done before, obviously. I don't know how it's going to work. Because, like, the Star Wars films have been very, even though Lucas merchandised them like all get out, he's been very protective by not milking it in terms of movie after movie after movie after movie after movie.
Hmm.
And now that Disney's in charge, they're going to make movie after movie after movie after movie until it becomes no longer profitable. And this is like the beginning of that. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to happen because this film will set the tone for all the other spin-off films that come out from here on
Hmm.
out. So
Right, because we got the Han Solo thing coming out afterwards, right?
there's is that the next one? I think that's the next one afterwards, the Han Solo one, yeah.
Yeah, 2018.
So, which is a terrible idea. We don't need to know about Han Solo as a kid.
Yeah.
Once you start peeling back the layers of a character it makes them uninteresting, I feel. But
Yeah.
you know, peek behind that curtain. You don't want to do that. But
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
just wait. They're gonna have like a Chewbacca weekly
Oh,
TV show.
I know they will. That I really am afraid that they will run Star Wars into the ground where people will be, all right, enough. Like when the original ones came out, it was great and unique. Nothing's been done. Then when the prequels came out, and I know people claim they don't like prequels, but when they came out, they felt like events. Like this is a once in a lifetime thing. And now, starting next week, when Episode 7 comes out, it's and they say they're going to make one more Star Wars film each year from here on out. It's going to lose what made Star Wars feel special, in my opinion. But I don't know. Now, there are two other films that you mentioned. They don't have release dates yet, so I'm
Yeah,
going to turn it over to you.
John Wick 2 is reportedly happening next year. And I loved John Wick. I think it was so cool, badass.
I have yet to see it.
Oh my god, dude,
I am going. I have with my work. I get like a week and a half off. I
yeah,
will make sure John Wick is on my rental list.
yeah. I on my Christmas list this year, I even had a poster of John Wick with a gun facing at you. But no, revenge movies are one of my favorite subgenres of movies, and this is an American revenge film where it's just nothing but I'm going to kick your ass for killing one of my loved ones, and it's a simple story, but it's just so badass, and I loved, and I want to see what they do more with it because seeing this movie, I really saw a different side of Keanu Reeves.
That's what a lot of people were saying.
Right. I was like, I gotta watch the rest of his movies because maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, because he just came out with, after that, he came out with one called Knock Knock. Have you heard about that?
No.
It's a thriller suspense where apparently he is home alone one night, and these two girls come, their car got wrecked down the street, and they're like, will you help us? And so he helps them. And then they initiate sex with them, and then they get furious with them, and so they like hold them captive. So it's very interesting. I really want to see that. But that was already released, and I'm just a delinquent when it comes to watching current movies. So you haven't heard anything about that, right?
No, I have not.
Yeah. So yeah, that one, and then I guess the last one is Kickboxer, the revamping of the original Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Now, is Jean-Claude Van Damme going to be in it?
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it can be the Karate Kid esque,
Okay.
where it's like a revamping of it, but I don't really see Van Damme getting into theaters anytime soon. He's just
Think it might just
right.
go straight to DVD.
That's what I'm afraid of. But Kickboxer is one of my favorite Van Damme films, and just haven't seen the jumping split kick in so many years, and I would love to see somebody take it over because I think it's one of the coolest moves in kung fu movies. And I just haven't seen it. I have to watch old movies to see the jumping split kick.
Well, maybe Kickboxer will bring it back. Was the jumping split kick in Expendables 2?
No. Oh, maybe, but it was. If it was, nothing has been as good as it was in Kickboxer, where it's just, god damn impressive how awesome it is. But yeah, so I guess that kicks off our list. But to finish it up, if you were to say narrow this list down to two or three, what would those two or three movies be?
Probably Star Trek, Ghostbusters, and Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yoga Hosers, Hateful Eight, and then either Deadpool or Batman versus Superman.
I will say my Batman versus Superman one, that's third place, and that could easily be swapped out for anything else on this list.
Yeah.
because I'm excited, but I'm not like, oh my god, I need to see it now.
Yeah. I just Batfleck is
Batfleck.
so cool, and I think it could
He
really.
looks good. I think he's going to be a good Batman.
Yeah, dude, badass.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's no George Clooney, but few are.
Or no, Val Kilmer. Or who was it?
Michael
Michael
Keaton.
Keaton? Oh my god, dude.
Michael Keaton was awesome as Batman. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was also in Jack Frost, the Christmas movie.
Well, I mean, we've all made bad movies, but we all have regrets in life. But nothing can take away his awesomeness as Batman.
I don't know. Batfleck has the potential to become my favorite Batman.
Yeah, the
But
potential is definitely there. So, all right. I think, I don't know, is there anything else do we need to go over? Or
no. I mean, it's
I'm surprised at the lack of horror films that we've talked about
oh
tonight.
yeah, I wanted to mention like there is nothing really coming out. I mean, there's some horror movies, like there's a Rob Zombie film, but I think he should just stay off the screen. Um, I'm not a fan of much of what he does.
There's Ouija 2.
Oh my god.
There's, let's see, A Monster Calls. Is that a horror film?
There's like a new Amityville movie, but none of these are really.
Oh, I'm excited for Untitled New Line horror film. That one looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah, there's nothing coming out. I mean, I am the Army of Dark. No, Ash versus Evil of Dead is currently playing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
hmm Hopefully that gets a good DVD release.
Yeah, soon. But yeah, I'm disappointed that there's really not a whole lot coming out. But what can you do?
Not much.
So, well,
All right. Well, I'm sure over the next couple of months, as these movies come on out, we'll be talking about them in some way, shape, or form, and we'll see if our excitement, our anticipation matches the end result. So, I don't know. For those of you who are listening, hopefully, if you have a film that you're looking forward to that you that we didn't talk about, feel free to drop us a line, and we will read every email we get.
yeah.
That is yet to happen.
Yeah, be the first person to email us, and
You can only be the first. Wait, how's that go? There can only be one first time person. So.
yeah. And then you can be like the newest member of the Culture Cast if you really want to.
You'll go down in podcasting history.
Yeah,
So
we will worship you.
Take advantage. I don't know about that much. Take advantage of that. Well, Gorehound, thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah, wonderful addition.
Yes. So, yeah, and then next week, if we're lucky, we'll have a brand new podcast that is up to date, which will be talking about Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't end up talking about Star Wars: The Force Awakens, well, we'll have something else for you instead.
It'll be awesome.
It'll be great no matter what. So, all right, thanks for joining me, Gorehound. I'll catch you soon.
Have a good night.
You've been listening to the all-new CultureCast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's CultureCast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all-new CultureCast, a saltwater production, copyright 2015. I just want to see it opening weekend because I don't want to be spoiled by it, because I just know websites like Yahoo and internet message boards are going to spoil every single detail.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go in with like some surprises.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to learn that, oh yeah, it turns out Chewbacca
It's gay.
is gay, and he and Han Solo have a kid together. It's like, I don't want to know that going in. I want to be disappointed with that stuff while I watch the movie. But